Hello, yo, it's Gio. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so sorry that I was gone. I've been in a reading slump now for more than a month, so I really couldn't read anything. Well, I'm currently reading two books at the moment, and it's taking me a while to finish them, but the one book that I'm reading. Okay, I'm just gonna spit it out. It's The Good House by Tananarive Du. For some reason, I like it. I like this book. This book is amazing, but it's just taken me a freaking while to finish this, and I don't know what that says about that book. I don't know what that says about me. Maybe I'm just going through it. The other book, though, let's not talk about her, okay? I'm so close to DNFing that book, but I won't because, as I said, I don't DNF books, and I'm freaking close. I'm freaking close to finishing that book. That's just a little life update today. I made a tarot card versions of the witches on the year of the witching. We're here to talk about a certain book, and might be one of my most favorite book that I've read this year, and that is The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson. It's one of my most favorite book that I've read this year. I can't believe I've read it this year. It took me this long to read it. Okay, it was published last year, but a bitch is late. A bitch is always late, okay? I got so inspired and I got so sucked in by this world that I decided I'm gonna make, no matter what, I'm gonna illustrate a scene somewhere in this book, and I ended up illustrating two scenes from this book. Accidentally, it was two of the witches in this book. There are four witches in this book, but trust me, I've tried to illustrate the two other witches, but couldn't do it. Okay, so the year of the witching centers around this town, this fictional town called Bethel, and we follow this main character named Emmanuel Moore, who is living with her grandmother. That's a freaking lizard. I think that's a gecko in English, but here in the Philippines we call it tuko. As I said, the year of the witching is about this fictional town called Bethel, and we follow this main character named Emmanuel Moore. She's living with her grandmother and grandfather, and I believe she has sisters or nieces. I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've read this book. And so this town is being governed by this priest. So you know what that means? It's a little bit of a cult situation. How could I describe this priest? He's misogynistic, and he marries young girls, and he's in his 60s. Okay, he is in his 60s because according to them, he needs to impregnate people to bring out God's word. Okay, and don't quote me on that because it's been a while since I've read this. These people are prohibiting people from entering the woods, which they call the dark wood, because they say that evil lurks in there. And so there's this prophet in the past who have slain four witches, Lilith, Delilah, Yael, and Mercy, which is the lovers. He has slain those four bitches. No, not bitches. He has slain those 4 witches in the past, okay? But for some reason, people say that their souls are still lurking on the dark wood, so nobody is prohibited to enter the dark wood because the witches A might seduce the men, which first of all, are you really that bitch who could seduce any man, okay? That's beside the point. And second of all, they influence and pass on their devil powers onto the women. So nobody is prohibited to enter the dark wood. But there's one scene where Emmanuel accidentally enters the dark wood and she sees 2 lovers and they gave her a journal which belongs to her deceased mother. And that journal contains information about her once deceased mother. This is the scene where Emmanuel just got out of the pond which she was drowning from. And so I'll read the passage. As she pressed off her belly, arms shaking, she glimpsed 2 bare feet stride through the shadows of the underbrush and stepped into the pale halo of the lamplight. Pushing wet curls from her eyes, she peered up to see a form that was feminine yet bestial looming over her. She, for Emmanuel was certain it was a she, had a tall, crude shape. Her legs were long and slender, her arms low-slung, fingertips skimming her knees, and she was naked, so much so that not even a fur of modesty covered her groin. But it was not her nakedness that drew Emmanuel's eyes so much as the deer skull that perched atop her thin, pale neck, a crown of bone. Her name rose to Emmanuel's lips like a curse. Lilith. The beast huffed hard. Steam churned through the cracks of her skull, coiling around her antlers. Emmanuel squatted low to the mud. Even in her terror, she had the good sense to know a queen when she saw one. Overall, I'm really really proud of how this turned out, how Lilith turned out, okay? So let's get into Delilah. So I initially thought that Delilah was the easiest one because it's just a face who's emerging from a dark pond, but I was freaking wrong. So I started Lilith first because I thought it was gonna be so complicated, but turned out Lilith was the easiest one among the two of this. I've struggled so much with what I could put here because a girl emerging from a pond is just boring to me, so I struggle a lot with that. I think this is it. I think these are the two tarot cards. I made them digitally, the two tarot cards, so it ain't a real tarot card, but if you want to maybe buy this, contact me. Maybe I could print this out into a real tarot card. And so I've put blood, blithe, darkness, and slaughter on the tarot card, so kind of like when you flip it a bit, the words would appear, kind of like a Pokemon card, because those were the curses that befell unto Bethel, the town Bethel. So let's discuss about what I like about this. Okay, hold up right there. Miss Alexis motherfreaking Henderson is watching this. So what I like about this book is it mixes horror with fantasy pretty well. And what I also really like about this book is it mixes biblical references on the book, because y'all know I'm a hoe for I was gonna say I'm a hoe for Jesus, but
we are going to pretend we didn't see that,
because you all know that I'm a Christian. For the biblical names, we got Abraham, which is Emmanuel's grandpa, which is Abraham in the Bible. I'm not gonna bore you with the details. Miriam, Ezra, Hagar, Esther, Martha, David, Daniel, Saul, and Isaac, which is just some biblical names that are familiar to me. So if I would compare this into a movie, I would compare it to The Witch by Robert Eggers, but with lots of witches. Not like the movie where the witches just appear at the end of the movie. The witches really appear at the beginning. We are promised witches. You gon' get witches. Y'all, you gon' get witches. And not just one, not just two. 4 witches, okay? You're probably gonna say that. Where's the horror in those things? Like, I'm not scared of witches. Bruh. The images in this book, the dream sequences in this book is nuts. And y'all know how I feel about dream sequences. I hate dream sequences because what's the point? But this one, there's one scene with a pregnant lady in the altar, okay? And I'm just gonna leave it at that, okay? And this movie really did kind of remind me of The Witch, if you've seen the movie The Witch, which was starred by Anya Taylor-Joy, which I discovered her from. If you've discovered her through Queen's Gambit, you ain't the real fan. You ain't the real fan. You ain't the real fan, okay? So yeah, it did kind of remind me of The Witch. That stars Anya Taylor-Joy. The writing. Let's talk about the freaking writing. The writing was so beautiful. It was poetic on the writing. So that's my review on the Year of the Witching. So yeah, I think this is it. Please follow my art Instagram. And yeah, I hope to finish this soon because it's long overdue, okay? So yeah, I think this is it. Hope you like this video. Like and comment for engagement. Which do you like better? Do you like Lilith, the Dark Mother, or do you like Delilah, the Witch of the Water? Okay, so comment them down below and comment if you're willing to like buy a little bit tarot cards from me if you really wanna, you know, support me or something, support my art journey or something. Okay, so yeah, that's it for this video. Bye. Yeah.